I'm Flavio Giacobone, Product and Application Specialist in Olympus Europa. Live cell imaging, or imaging of live samples in general, is a very important line of investigation in today's research laboratories. And we think that every instrument in the laboratory should be able to tackle this change. And this includes, of course, microscope. And this is why we are presenting here today the FV3000 confocal microscope, which is our latest generation of confocal microscope. This is, of course, one of the big news that Olympus is showing here, and is definitely showing how we are able again to improve confocal microscopy in all aspects. These instruments can reduce dramatically the amount of light which is needed to generate and detect a good signal from your sample. By doing this reduction of light, we obtain basically two main effects. The first effect that this instrument is really gentle on the sample. The second effect is that we can go really fast, which means you can image really fast events, or you can have in a very short time your results. So thanks to this combination of advantages, the Olympus FV3000 confocal microscope can handle challenges which have been always difficult for confocal microscopy, like the seamless imaging of micro and micro areas, or the very long-term studies of live samples. The FV3000 has also been designed to be very easy to use and also very cost-effective to maintain. For this reason, we think the FV3000 can be defined as a real workhorse for the laboratory, because it's able to handle a very wide range of application and is also able to handle a very heavy workload. And these are typical situations in today's research laboratories. All these advantages of the FV3000 confocal microscope are possible because it's built on a very stable platform, which is our iX3 inverted microscope platform. The iX3 microscope platform is a complete redesign from our previous inverted microscope platform. This has been done to achieve the results of complete stability and very high flexibility. In modern dense laboratories, it happens often that you need to change the configuration of your microscope to face the challenges and the ever-changing applications. And the microscope should be able to do this very quickly, in minutes if possible. That's why we introduced with the iX3 the concept of open source microscopy. Basically, we created a big optical space which can be filled with optical modules which can be swapped in minutes for the need you have at the moment. This big optical space also allowed us to create a very stable frame. We call it a closed loop frame. Basically, with this design, we minimize the influence of the laboratory on the quality of your imaging. By this characteristic, the iX3 platform is a very stable platform. It allows you to image your samples for hours or even days. Every sample is really precious because there is a great deal amount of work before the sample is ready to be put on the microscope. This all happens before, and it is the so-called cell culture workflow. This is the part where we also, as Olympus, took a very hard look how we could make things faster or more efficient. For example, before starting experiments, the cells must be counted and diluted. And this operation can make the difference between a good experiment or an experiment which needs to be repeated. The counting and diluting of cells is a very manual operation, especially the counting, and this has been traditionally done by human beings. But of course, they are subjected to error and bias. So we see here a point where we can really make everything faster and more reliable, especially. That's why we introduce here the R1 cell counter from Olympus. These instruments can automatically count your cells in 15 seconds. In the same 15 seconds, you can also have a fully detailed report about your counting. And you can have it in either as a PDF, which is saved on a USB connected to the instrument, or as a small receipt, which is just printed out directly from the instrument. This makes the R1 really a one-stop station for reliable counting of your cells. The Olympus cell counting software allows you to quickly measure and document the growth of your cells. This can be done either with stored images, but most of all can be done directly on the microscope, where you have the live image of your sample. The software will give you a direct measure of the growth of the cells and will save this measure together with the images, so you can easily document the process. By this easy documentation and measuring, you can take a decision if you need to seed again the cells or if you can go on growing them simply. This also allows to very quickly bring back the cells in the incubator, so you don't give them too much stress because they are not in the ideal conditions. Also, this concept of not stressing too much the cells when they are growing is applied when you have to check the morphology of cells, which is another fundamental step in the cell growth process. This is actually something we took a lot of care by designing a new inverted microscope for cell checking, which is the CKX53. With the CKX53 inverted frame microscope, we really design an instrument which can help you in this very fundamental operation of checking and quickly and efficiently checking the cell morphology. It's very easy to operate. It also can be expanded with very high quality fluorescence or digital imaging option. With these instruments, we also introduce a much wider field of view. And we also have a very innovative contrast method, which is specifically designed for pluripotent cell colonies. At the end, the CKX53 makes the cell morphology check process as frictionless as possible, very efficient, very comfortable, and very fast. Live cell imaging really plays a fundamental role in today's scientific advancements. At Olympus, we understand this, and we want to maximize the benefits for everyone. The products we have seen today, they really all play together to create a very efficient cell culture workflow, where samples of excellent quality can be created every day, and where instruments like the FE3000, they are ready to really see and record all their secrets.